Hey there, Aries and Aries Rising. This is Raina from Divination by Raina Moon, and I welcome you to your June 2015 astrological forecast. So the month begins with a full moon at 11 degrees Sag on June 2nd at 11:19 a.m. Central Standard Time. This full moon is going to fall in your ninth house, which has to do with higher learning, publishing, foreign travel, things of that nature. Anything that has to do with expansiveness, your personal philosophy. It could be an ending, but it could be a blossoming. So maybe you graduate from university. Maybe you finish that novel that you've been working on for the last year with Jupiter in Leo in your fifth house of creativity. Whatever happens on this date, it's a manifestation of sorts. It's also a great time for manifesting. It's a great time for planting seeds for future manifestations as well. And with the focus here on the ninth house, it's a wonderful time to reflect on what your belief system is. The full moon energy is very special, and when it falls in a philosophical sector like this, it's asking us to meditate upon how we live our life. You know, sometimes we go through the motions, but sometimes we really need to think about the way we want things to be, not the way they are at this moment. And then on June 5th, we have Venus going into Leo. Now, Leo is a fellow fire sign. It forms a trine to your sign. And you already have Jupiter and Leo in the fifth house, so Venus will join there. And for those who have not yet taken advantage of having Jupiter in the fifth house, this energy is great for artistic projects, especially after Mercury goes direct on the 11th of June. It would be a great time to start a creative project. It's just going to give a lot of ease and blessings in the area of creativity, children, gambling, and other kinds of amusements, hobbies, that sort of thing. And then on the 11th, Mercury will go direct in the third house, which is the house of Mercury and the house of Gemini. So this is very significant for you, especially if you are a writer and you have been kind of editing, reviewing something that you've already done, because then you can go forward on that project. And with that activity in the fifth house, it's particularly auspicious. This can also be great energy for PR work or anything to do with the internet and promoting yourself. You've had Mars transiting the third house in Gemini, and on June 24th, it's going to be going into your fourth house. And so this means that on the home front, you may feel more aggressive in some way. It could relate to renovation. It could indicate increased conflicts within your household, but also within your family of origin, because it also rules your, you know, parents and your family. So be on the lookout for that. Try not to be too aggressive when you're dealing with family members, knowing that this transit is taking place. It's interesting that everything is like a two-sided coin. You know, you have Mars energy that can be harnessed and used in a constructive way, and then you have the destructive usage of this energy. When you're using it constructively, you're being very energetic, enthusiastic, and really, if you have things to do, you really get them done. So if you have a spring cleaning that is long overdue, Mars in the fourth house can get you motivated to getting your house in order, literally. The downside, if you're not using it correctly, it can just create a lot of infighting within the family. So just be mindful of this and choose the right course of action. As I said earlier, Jupiter is in Leo in your fifth house, blessing your creativity and your children. If you've wanted to expand your family, that could happen. All these things that relate to the fifth house. You know, if you have a hobby that you want to make into a lucrative business, this could indicate that too. So let's talk about Saturn for a moment. Saturn has transited in the very early degrees of Sagittarius in your ninth house recently, and now that it's retrograding, is going to be dipping back into Scorpio, and that will happen in the middle of June. So back into the eighth house, back into revisiting issues related to other people's money, debts, loans, taxes, that sort of thing, inheritances. It can be dealing with getting clear of these issues, or it can be about creating a stronger foundation, depending on your particular situation. So it's nothing that you haven't dealt with before. It's just that for the time being, that energy is going back and reviewing something having to do with eighth house matters. Now, Neptune has been making a transit through its natural 12th house, and it's very comfortable in the 12th house. And on the 12th, it's going to be retrograding, so it will be lifting the veil, so to speak, which it always does when it retrogrades, and making clear things that may have been obscured in relation to whatever house it's affecting. In this case, it hasn't been as bad for you because the 12th house already is a nebulous, indefinable, unconscious house that deals with past lives, astral traveling, spirituality, psychological issues. And when Neptune is in the 12th, you can really have vivid dreams. You can feel this sense of inspiration. It can be a very uplifting time spiritually. And I don't know if you will notice much in the way of anything changing during the retrograde motion. I keep stressing about the creative side of Aries right now because you have a lot of activity in the third house of self-expression, and then you've had this wonderful Jupiter transit in your fifth house of creativity. So I can see that with Pisces in the 12th, that it could really be a great time to receive inspiration from on high. And even when, so Aries, I hope you enjoyed your June forecast, and please stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a tarot spread for each of the signs, and that should be up sometime this month as well. Take care, guys.